We're at the 16th annual National SARIPA Conference in Natal, where all the different heads of auction businesses, business rescue practitioners, and solvency attorneys are all getting together to discuss how better to help their clients in business rescue. It's a learning conference where people come together to share stories, understand how exactly is business rescue unfolding in South Africa, and is it still relevant?
Welcome to the Corner Office, where we bring you the latest news from the world of commercial real estate, the greatest voices in the industry, and the corporate chats you've been missing. Let's get to it.
Okay, so we're talking to Gideon Slabbert from Corporate Business Rescue, and we're going to cover a range of subjects. They've just worked on quite a big retail business rescue, and there were some learnings there which we're going to talk about, and we're also going to talk about real estate and how the business rescue impacts the corporates with regards to their real estate, whether it be leased, whether it be owned, not necessarily as a property company, but actually perhaps as a retailer or just as an accounting firm or whoever it might be. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. How have you found SARIPA so far?
It's been a fantastic conference. The networking is of great value in the relationship building, and the content has also been fantastic.
Not often you get everyone in the same place. I mean, it's nice to have everyone here. You can chat to them, you catch up.
Everyone gets so busy in their daily task, so seeing everyone once a year, catching up, it's fantastic for the industry.
Yeah. Okay, so what I wanted to chat about, you guys have worked on a number of different business rescue. That's your focus, right? Tell me, I'm trying to understand from a real estate perspective. Here's a corporate that's got itself into distress. They could be an accounting firm, they could be a can manufacturer, they could be a retailer, it doesn't matter. Typically these guys have leases where they occupy premises, or they might even own the building that they occupy. How do you deal with the landlords of these leased properties? You come to them, you say, we need to pay less rental, or we need to exit this building, or is there anything we need to sublet? How are you finding those interactions?
I think in general, the landlords are always approachable. In most instances, we find ourselves in a position where rentals is maybe in arrears with a month or two, and the landlords need to understand how they are going to recover the arrears. Sometimes it's much more than that. How will the situation be treated going forward? I think the most pressing matter for landlords, in my experience, is the payment of utilities, which is a sunk cost, for a lack of a better word. It's something that really bleeds the landlords. I think it is unreasonable and unfair to expect a landlord to carry that financial burden for the business rescue process indefinitely. One of the success matters that myself and my partner worked on was MCG Industries, and we had 3 of the prominent landlords. It was bespoke properties, heavy machinery that you cannot necessarily move, and each and every landlord had its own demand. But what I must say is that the landlords engaged with us, and they participated by giving us a 2-month breather on the rental obligations, doing or negotiating certain payment terms. And we've currently got a business rescue in our office where we engage with the landlords and say, this is the payment plans, how we can address to the arrears, and it's something that we can work into the business is continuous obligations, and actually alleviate the pressures on the business's cash flow, but also ensure that a consideration reaches the landlord.
When the landlord gives you a rental abatement, okay, let's say they were paying 100,000 Rand a month and the landlord says, fine, I'll take 50,000 Rand a month. What happens to that other 50,000 Rand? Does it go as a held liability? In the case that it goes to liquidation, they say, well, you still owe us that money, or do they say we're happy to take the lesser amount into perpetuity, or how does that actually work?
I think transparency and constant communication is key between the business rescue practitioner and the company. That is a point that needs to be negotiated. I continuously say it's not to say that there is a post-business rescue expense that it automatically constitutes post-commencement finance. It's critical that the landlord and the business rescue practitioner agree on the terms of any credit offered to the company and how it would be repaid, whether it would be treated as a post-commencement finance in the business rescue plan and paid as a preference, or whether the term of the lease agreement is alterated to be linked strengthened.
Yes, an extension,
Extended, or whether or not it would be paid up in smaller amounts over and above your normal monthly obligations.
Would you say a successful business rescue? Are you looking out more for the employees, for the shareholder, for the creditors? How do you balance that act? Because that is a balancing act, right?
Look, Section 7K of the Companies Act refers to all related stakeholders, or in the interest. Business rescue proceedings should be aimed at the interest of all affected stakeholders. So that is the simple answer. Obviously, your different classes of creditors have got the different, on case-by-case basis, different outcome, that they would achieve. In general, one needs to maximize as much as possible for each class of creditors.
And are you finding in a situation with a landlord, what would you say your interaction that you're looking for is? I mean, are you looking for an open book, let's have an open communication, transparent, or as a landlord, do you need to be a little bit harder? Do you need to bark the loudest? How are the landlords supposed to play this?
Thought about this point quite a lot, especially in the matter of the cross-trainer. There were some of the leases, the majority of the leases, which were way above the general guideline that SARIPA gives the industry, which was, this is now for, commercial leases, rental should be 6.8% of your turnover, your lease space at least, your gross rental. So we found situations where this cost exceeds 23%, where it should be at 6.8%. And the landlords refused to amend the lease agreements to a market-related rent. I think that's
hard to trade your way out of that.
Well, you just can't. I mean, if you don't have a lease agreement and you don't have mutual meeting of minds, you are not going to come right there. And I think that's where a lot of the commercial landlords, or retail landlords at least, fail to apply a prudent approach. And it's not all of them. This is just from experience.
Yeah. And I suppose it all depends on leverage. If you've got the corner store in Cavendish Square or in Sandton City, listen, you must pay, or we're going to go to the next person and we're going to get them to pay. They're a stronger client, so it comes down to leverage. But if that store is going to sit empty for a number of months, and then I think they start considering their opportunities or their options a little bit. It's always fascinating to me, because we deal with this type of negotiation for a corporate, not necessarily in a business rescue setting, but just for a corporate, normal, let's restructure our lease portfolio. And the different attitude of the different landlords really comes across an easier negotiation for a longer relationship, or it comes a very hard negotiation and then the relationship's typically cut short. And I'd imagine it's the same type of thing.
That definitely is so, but one doesn't always also understand the landlord position. Me specializing in financial modeling and valuation analysis, I understand the other side, on the landlord side. They can't have vacancy reporting, which is negatively impacts their position. It negatively impacts the value of their asset, and usually these assets are also backed by financiers and lenders. So if the ratios go out of hand on the landlord side, then they would consider all options to ensure that their key performance indicators are met.
Last question for you. How are you feeling about South Africa as a general?
Fantastic, positive. I think it's my view that the GNU is positive and has been received positive. I think listening at all the attendees at this conference today, everyone is positive. Everyone realizes the position and what needs to be done. It's just a matter of actually getting the necessary financial resources and implementing plans and following through. But I think everyone is positive.
I suppose you could draw a parallel between a business rescue and a country rescue, right? So it's the same thing. Let's get the plan in place and go.
That is so.
Amazing. Gideon, thanks for chatting. It's been great to spend a couple of minutes with you. Get your takeouts, and we'll see you at the function ladder.